When it comes to war, no weapon dominates the battlefield more than the main battle tank. Backed by superior firepower, protection and mobility, these armored monsters often decide the fate of wars. From capturing land territories to creating havoc behind enemy lines, the tank is the most destructive war machine during any surface combat. This is Arjun Mark I, a fearsome battle tank equipped with advanced warfare technologies. Indigenously designed and developed by the Defense Research and Development Organization DRDO, India's premier military research institution, Arjun is a sophisticated mobile weapon system that can lead the charge during any land combat. The Republic of India is a young nation. Ever since its independence in 1947, cross-border tensions have been a major cause of concern for the Indian military. Some of these have intensified into full-blown wars that threatened the country's sovereignty. One such bloody and brutal battle was the Indo-Pakistan War in 1971. It was here that the Indian troops were exposed to one of the world's toughest battle terrains, the Thar Desert of Rajasthan. Despite the odds, India had a decisive victory that resulted in the independence of Bangladesh. But the triumph left some deep scars. The war exposed gaping holes in the country's tank arsenal. This comprised foreign tanks that had failed to perform in harsh desert conditions. The Indian military was left desperately searching for an answer.
One of the major experience which was gained in the 71 war and even in 1965 war, we found that the British tanks which the Indian Army was using were getting bogged down in desert areas. They were also not able to operate in high temperature conditions, 50 degrees centigrade of the Rajasthan conditions.
The military needed a battle tank that could tackle its unique multi-terrain challenges. It required a tank that was specially created for India's needs. Answering the military's call for an agile all-terrain combat vehicle, DRDO stepped in to design and develop a tank that could effectively engage in every Indian battle condition. The result was an ideal war machine for the subcontinent, the Arjun Mark I.
A lot of discussion had taken place between the Army, DRDO and the Minister of Defense, and a deliberate decision was taken that India should build our own tank to meet our own terrain requirements and our own environmental requirements. So that's how the genesis of Arjun started.
The first Arjun concept was created in 1974. The original requirement was for a 40-ton tank armed with a 110mm gun. But DRDO had to start from scratch, as this was the first time the country had attempted to build a battle tank indigenously.
You can never learn by only talking. It's better to jump into a swimming pool if you want to learn swimming. So that was the basis how this whole thing started way back in 74, and it was given in the form of a draft specification. And thereafter the layout designs started.
With some basic knowledge and a handful of specifications, a team of young Indian scientists from DRDO embarked on an epic journey. They were commissioned to indigenously develop the most destructive land combat vehicle, a daunting task in a country where this had never been done before.
The challengers, it's a set of novices who thought of this design and built on this design, on this concept, and therefore design, and therefore the engineering of the product, and then going into the hardware phase, meeting with all the challenges of technology, and substituting those technologies to which we could not develop.
In the development phase, military technology kept evolving rapidly, and this impacted the initial design of the tank. As the army wanted a tank that was prepared for future threats and was equipped with the latest technologies, the Arjun project faced a series of roadblocks and delays. Continuously changing gun and power specifications plagued the project and often sent DRDO scientists back to the drawing board.
We started with 110mm gun system. Later on, when the army wanted 150, then finally we settled down at 120. So everything had a repercussion, because when you start with 110, when you go to 120, the gun size is going to be bigger, the weight is going to be bigger, so the recoil system is going to be higher energy. So again, accordingly, you have to design the turret. So we went through a design evolution in the 70s to 90s.
A project of this scale and complexity was being undertaken for the first time. To begin with, there was need to create prototypes of the tank, a task which no existing Indian industry was equipped to undertake.
So initially what happened when you do development, we make few numbers. So here I want to mention about the industries. No industry was ready. I'm talking about the stories of 70s, 80s and all. No industry was ready to come and participate in this program.
With no option in sight, the Combat Vehicles Research and Development Establishment under DRDO set up its own prototype development and testing unit. The primary aim of these facilities was not just to create a tank, but to set up manufacturing that could swing into mass production.
The success of MBT Arjun is not only demonstrating the capabilities from the R&D platform, ultimately it has to be established in the bulk production and finally delivered as a reliable product.
By the mid-90s, DRDO's in-house manufacturing workshop had created 12 prototypes and 15 pre-production tanks for Army trials. These tanks were ready to face rigorous testing across various Army ranges and under extreme operational conditions.
We did all kinds of trials. Initially, we started with slow speed, then again raised the speed, and again changed the load parameters. We did a lot of trials. For information, I can say that in the whole world, if you see the history of tank development, maybe Arjun is the only tank was subjected to almost 10 years of vigorous trials.
After more than 2 decades of development and trials, DRDO rolled out the fully equipped Arjun Mark I. Named after the mythical warrior from the epic Mahabharata, Arjun is a battle tank that can perform in the roughest conditions.
If you see the Arjun tank today, the main credit is mobility. Fantastic. It is required for war scenario. The another one is your firepower. Arjun firepower is superb. Whether it is from static to static target or static to moving target or moving to moving target, the performance of Arjun is very good.
Advanced mobility and sophisticated firepower are some of the critical features of Arjun's design that make it a force to reckon on the battlefield. The tank also has day and night operational capabilities, making it optimally battle-ready round the clock.
It has firing capability with a very high first round hit probability. It has a capability to fire in the night at a range of 2,000 meters. You can engage enemy tank. And you can also fire on the move when your tank, Arjun, is traveling at 25 kilometers per hour, and if another enemy tank is moving at 25 kilometers per hour, still you can hit with about 90% hit probability.
This makes Arjun extremely agile, and agility is a key factor in winning battles. In fact, the tank is equipped with a 1400 horsepower engine that can take it to a top speed of 70 kilometers per hour, enabling it to swiftly engage in the most challenging Indian war terrains. Arjun is a 62-ton metal giant, comparable to some of the best tanks in the world. Arjun main battle tank is one of the most destructive battle tanks in the world today. A result of more than 2 decades of rigorous development and trials by DRDO, this surface combat vehicle has proven to be an efficient weapon system.
Arjun is definitely today, it is comparable with any of the world-class tanks with respect to any feature, whether it's a firepower, mobility or protection.
Arjun has been designed for optimal performance. The basic structure of the tank is divided into two parts, the hull and the turret. The hull is the lower part of the tank and comprises the chassis, power pack, integrated fuel system, running gear with hydropneumatic suspension, fire detection systems, and various other advanced subsystems.
One technology which we are very proud of is the suspension of the tank. This is actually nothing but a folded landing gear of an aircraft. It's a hydrogas suspension. Now, this was not even thought of those days because most tanks had a leaf spring element, like in cars.
Arjun's turret, or the upper half of the tank, is equipped with state-of-the-art fire control systems. The 120mm rifle bore gun adds terrific firepower and puts it into the league of the world's most powerful tanks. A laser rangefinder, ballistic computer, thermal imaging night vision, stabilized panoramic sight for the tank commander and a secondary telescopic sight for the gunner make Arjun deadly on the move.
The challenge, if you look at this, I was personally involved in the development of this integrated fire control system. So there was a requirement to stabilize the gun system, which is about 17-ton mass. We have to stabilize, because when you want to fire on the move and the gun has to keep looking at the target, and that has to be done automatically. So you have to stabilize the gun, which is about 17 to 18-ton weight. So we need to design a special gyros to sense the gun movement. Then you have to build special electronics, very sophisticated hydraulics, so that you are able to position the gun in spite of the undulated movement of the tank. The gun should be pointing at the target.
Arjun's accuracy is ensured by a combination of sophisticated high-end electronics, hydraulics and special gyros. The tank can also do a complete pivot turn in a matter of seconds. The stabilized panoramic sight ensures that the commander has an uninterrupted 360-degree view in every terrain, so he can hit the target with absolute precision.
If you are hitting a target, our Arjun can fire from static to static and achieve 90% probability. And I can say within 0.2 mil, we can achieve that kind of accuracy. This is one of the important special features in the case of Arjun. Similarly, from static to moving, moving to moving, we can do that.
From the inside, Arjun is equipped with all the latest gadgets. The superior systems installed in the tank had never been used by the Indian military before. And this constant advancement created a need to train the crew.
We also were emphasizing the need for crew to be trained adequately. And we had made a program so that the crew's performance, without actually firing the round, but by just a pulse of a laser, can be watched on a laptop so that we can grade the crew. There was a lot of opposition to this because you are not really firing a round, but you are only simulating him and trying to. And then to demonstrate this, we picked up such crews.
Arjun MBT is operated by a four-man crew, consisting of a driver, loader, gunner and commander. The driver has a separate compartment in the front of the tank and is linked to the commander's compartment by radio signal. Until now, Indian tank fleets were operated by three-member teams. However, with the induction of Arjun, tank crews had to be trained as four-member units. To address this unique challenge, DRDO developed a tank simulator that was exclusively designed for the Arjun program. To ensure accuracy in the training program, the simulator is divided into three parts: the driver compartment, the gunner compartment, and the commander console. The compartments simulate a near-perfect training exercise based on the Indian test ranges in Pathankot and Pokhran. The controls provided to the training troops in the simulator are identical to the ones available on the tank. The crew is tested in various mission roles, where the commander identifies a target on a simulated test range and guides the driver and the gunners using a radio link. The driver is then instructed to take the tank to an ideal attack position, while the gunners zero in on their target. Once the training is complete, the crew is taken for actual field trials.
I recall the development sometime in 1995, I think. We had evolved a particular process of zeroing the gun. So the instruction was given that you will fire on the target designated Somebody will say, target 2, target 3, but at random. And we told them that when you fire your 16 rounds, you will get not less than 80%. They got, I think, close to 13 rounds. It was unbelievable fun. Their own crew, only this instruction, a little bit of training given. So it went to prove that mere sophistication alone is not enough. You need well-trained crew. And there must be discipline in the process.
With an effective training and testing mechanism in place, DRDO transferred these simulators to various army units for efficient functioning of the tank crews. The main battle tank today is central to the art of war. For over a century, it has been the most devastating weapon on the battlefield. Strengthening India's military arsenal is Arjun MBT, an agile metal monster developed by DRDO.
I think today, what has finally evolved as a tank is quite competitive in terms of performance to any of the best tanks of the world.
Since the invention of battle tanks for warfare in the early 1900s, armor has been a key factor for military planners and developers, and Arjun is no exception. But how does one create protection that does not compromise agility?
For armored fighting vehicle, important is armor. If you simply go by simple conventional steel, the weight of tank will increase tremendously. You have to reduce the weight. At the same time, you have to protect the tank. There are two unique natures you have to compensate.
For optimal protection, Arjun Mark I is equipped with the indigenously developed Kanchan armor that has been built using lightweight composite materials. In order to provide increased protection with minimal weight for future variants of the tank, DRDO developed the Explosive Reactive Armor, or ERA. The Explosive Reactive Armor significantly increases the level of protection of a tank. The operating mechanism is based on initiation of an explosion that prevents a warhead from penetrating the actual armor. Each ERA panel is specially designed to explode only on high impact, without detonating any adjacent panels.
The explosive reactive armor development again is not an easy task, because in the peacetime the explosive reactive armor has to be dominant. It cannot just get triggered by a simple thing, and it should not create an accident.
To avoid any mishaps, ERA panels are extensively tested during the development stage to avoid simultaneous detonation of any nearby panels.
Today we are going to test the performance evaluation of ERA Mark I against Milan warhead. Here we have kept two ERA panels side by side. We are going to detonate one ERA panel and we are going to see what is the effect on the other ERA panel, as well as we are also going to assess the penetration of this Milan warhead.
Ready for firing! Firing! 3, 2, 1, fire!
What we are doing today, we are developing a ERA panel for Arjun mainly to cater for the frontal 60-degree arc protection, so that we can minimize the weight of the ERA, which will not go beyond 1.5 tons.
After more than 20 years of development and trials, Arjun Mark I was inducted into the elite tank battalions of India's armed forces. Equipped with the latest features and technologies, it had cleared all user trials and come out with flying colors. A bunch of novices who laid the foundation of Arjun in 1974 had now rolled out India's first indigenous main battle tank.
Arjun main battle tank is a success story. The tanks presently under production, which is retroactively called Arjun MBT Mark I, has met all the user requirements, and Army has find it quite useful, and operationally they meet the requirement, and also they confirm that it is easily maintainable.
But the actual rewards of Arjun's development were yet to be reaped fully. It had opened many doors for various DRDO labs as they gained invaluable skills and facilities to develop advanced combat vehicles for the future.
While developing Arjun, each and every lab who participated in that they gained technology, they gained technical expertise in development of armored fighting vehicle requirements. For example, CVRD. With the knowledge what we gained in this program, today I can say that we developed many vehicles.
I think these skill sets are very vital for a country like India, whether it is through the medium of tank or through the medium of aircraft. And I think the more such people we generate in India who can handle such situation, then the day will be golden day for India, because you can have India-specific products.
The biggest benefit came in the form of Arjun Mark II, as the successful development of Arjun Mark I laid the foundation for its future variant. A second-generation battle tank that will cater to the operational needs of the Indian Army in the near future.
After comparative trials and the experience in development of tanks, we all sat together. We discussed in detail to finalize what kind of improvements are required to meet all such kind of demands.
The next few years will be critical for DRDO scientists as they get ready to test their skills and reinvent India's only indigenous tank.
We are going to convert Arjun Mark I into Arjun Mark II with almost 89 features in that: missile firing capability, adding ERA panel, giving advanced air defense system. Like that, many features we are adding in.
Arjun is a deadly combination of firepower, mobility and armored protection. Indigenously designed by DRDO, this metal giant is continuously getting upgraded to dominate the battlefields of the future.